Elizabeth, and I grew up in a very dangerous neighborhood. To make things worse, my dad left my mom when I was just a baby, so we had no one to protect us. At age 13, I started to notice guys staring at me when I walked past them. I told my mom about it, and she said I was too pretty for my own good. Since then, she made me wear ugly clothes which covered my body and face so that guys would be less interested in me. She also told me horror stories about what happened to girls who went out at night and what guys would do to them. It made me terrified to go anywhere, and to this day, I've never been to a single party or event after 5 p.m. You might think that being pretty made me one of the popular girls in school, but that wasn't the case. Most girls didn't like me. They said I was arrogant and stuck up, and there was one time when my mom allowed me to wear tight jeans, and all the girls inside my class shamed me and called me a slut. I did have one good friend though. Her name was Marie, and she never seemed to care what other people thought of her. She was really into comic books and stuff, even though the other kids said it was dumb. Anyways, one day I went to the bathroom and caught Taya, Rachel, and some other popular girls writing some really nasty things about Marie in lipstick on the walls. I told them they were jerks and went to clean it off, but they all circled around me saying things like, "Oh, Miss Pretty thinks she's better than us. Better watch your back, you won't be pretty forever." I was seriously scared, but I would have never guessed what they did next. The following day, they wrote on the walls again, this time calling one of our teachers ugly. Then they went to the principal, Mr. Clayton, and told him they'd seen me writing the graffiti onto the bathroom walls. Next, I got called into Mr. Clayton's office. I tried to tell him I didn't do it. I mean, I didn't even own a lipstick. But when he searched my bag and found the lipstick, I knew the other girls had put it in my bag. Of course, I tried to explain to him I'd been set up, but he didn't believe me and said I needed to learn that just because I was pretty didn't mean I could call other people ugly and do whatever I wanted. Afterwards, he suspended me for 1 whole week from school. I was furious because I was being punished even though I'd only tried to defend my best friend. I don't want to complain though. I know a lot of people have much bigger problems to deal with, and most of the time, being pretty makes your life easier. Recently though, I had another problem. I'm working in sales and I have a female boss. Even though I made the most sales in my department, I was the only one who didn't get a bonus. When I asked my boss why, she told me I had a bad attitude and needed to be more of a team player. I had no idea what she was talking about, but I was suspecting that she was actually just jealous of my
I heard noises from behind me, and I got so scared that I ran to the changing room and hid inside a locker. It was perfect though. I just looked through the vents and then Dylan appeared right in front of me. I waited until he had changed clothes and jumped out saying, "Surprise! Holy cow! You scared me half to death!" "Oh, I'm sorry. I'm only here to have some fun. And I promise your girlfriend won't find out about it." He didn't respond, so I went ahead and kissed him. He must have enjoyed it a lot, because afterward he took me home. The next morning I asked, "Are we dating now?" "Oh God, relax." "Well, at least text your girlfriend that it's over between you two. Tell her you found someone better. Someone hotter." "But what if I love her?" "Oh, it's too late for love. You've already cheated on her." I was so proud of myself, but right when I left Dylan's house, his brother approached me saying, "I think you forgot about me." "Oh, yeah. Can't I pay my debt in some other way? What if I pay you money?" "No, we had a deal. You will be my girlfriend for 1 week." Well, I'm a girl who keeps her word, so I went ahead and kissed him. It actually wasn't even that bad. I just imagined he was skinny, even though his big belly kept pushing me away. However, he also wanted me to pretend that he was the most handsome guy in the world. I had to say, "Oh, you're so good looking. I can't believe I'm dating you." "That's right, you are lucky to have me. But right now, I'm starving. So go get me some more KFC chicken wings." Well, once the 7 days were over, I went straight over to Dylan's room. But he said, "Look, I only pretended I wanted to date you so my brother could date you for a week. You definitely aren't girlfriend material." "Oh, okay, that sucks. But would you like to see me casually? You could call me over anytime you want." Okay, why not? But we need to make sure my girlfriend won't find out about it. She still doesn't know that I've cheated on her with you." Oh, Dylan was so naive. That same week, I took a photo of me hugging Dylan and sent it to his girlfriend. She broke up with him the same day. Dylan is still mad about it, but at least I have him all to myself now. The human body is capable of incredible feats if pushed against a corner, or, as in my case, against a ceiling. In the end of this story, I will survive the flood that trapped me in my basement, but it came at a great cost. And it's all my dad's fault. A few years earlier, he and my mom divorced. Through lying and manipulation, he convinced the family court to give him sole child custody over me. I was only 8 years old, and he did it by convincing me that my mom was evil. He told me she had only sent me to ballet classes so she could sell me to the circus one day. At the same time, I was afraid of my dad. I didn't want to upset him, so when the court asked me if I wanted to continue to live with my mom or my dad, I responded, "My mom is evil. I want to stay with Dad." When my mom heard what I said about her, she broke out in tears and screamed, "But I've always been good to you, and I love you so much." I saw my mom cry and was about to change my mind, but it was too late. The court announced that my dad had won sole child custody over me, and then he immediately dragged me out of the courtroom before I could say anything. Back at home, he told me I'd be homeschooled from now on, because that way my mom couldn't kidnap me on my way to school. But really, that was just an excuse to turn me into his housemaid. He continued, saying that I should first learn how to cook and clean. So the next morning, he handed me a cookbook and said, "Start studying now. I'll be back home at 5 p.m. Surprise me with a meal." That's how I, at the age of 8, became the servant and private chef of my dad. But it was just the beginning. You see, jerks often get along well with other jerks, and Dad soon found a new girlfriend, Darcy. The first time I met her, she tousled my hair and said, "You are such a cutie. Do you like playing video games?" But Dad interrupted her, saying, "Don't pamper her. She's only here to clean the house and cook me food. You don't have to pretend to like her." Oh, thank God. I can't tell you how much I hate children. That same day, I had to cook them dinner, but made a big mistake. I thought I could eat with them at the table. Normally, Dad didn't care if I sat down next to him or not, but Darcy said, "I don't want you to sit here with us. You can come back when we are finished, to eat the leftovers and clean the dishes." Darcy then looked at my dad to check his reaction, to see if he'd get angry at her for mistreating me. But my dad didn't care. He just continued eating, acting like nothing had happened. And that was the difference between these two. Dad just didn't care about me, but Darcy got a kick out of subjugating and bullying me. The first night she stayed over at our house, she came into my room right before bedtime and told me to sit down. She said, "Your dad and I are a couple now. He loves me dearly, while he hates you. And no wonder. So far, you've tried everything you can to break us apart." "That's not true. I've treated you with respect, and I've only been nice to you. Nice to you." But she put her fingers on my lips and shut my mouth. "Don't ever interrupt me again, you bastard child. I don't like you, and neither does your dad. No one likes you. Speak up to me again, and you will regret it." I freed myself from her fingers and screamed, "You are right! My dad doesn't love me, but guess what? He doesn't love you either." To my surprise, she left the room without further arguing with me. I thought I had stood my ground well, but then I heard screams. I ran to see what happened and found her at the bottom of the stairs crying. Dad came too and asked what happened. She said, "Your daughter tripped my feet and I fell. She is so mean." I was scared my dad would punish me, but he did something even worse. He told Darcy, "Don't let a child bully you. Punish her yourself," and walked away again. Wow, did my dad just give her permission to do with me whatever she wanted? Well, the next morning I heard Darcy screaming again, and this time she called my name. I went downstairs and saw her with her injured leg resting on the footrest. "See what you've done to me? I can't go to work today because you pushed me down the stairs. Now go make me breakfast, you bastard child." I flipped her off and went back to my room. No way I would become her slave. But when Dad got home in the evening, he took me to the side and said, "There are only 2 rules you have to follow. First, do the household, and second, don't annoy me. If my girlfriend tells you to do something, you will do it. Understood? If Darcy complains about you one more time, I will feed you to the dogs." But that doesn't make sense. If I'm so annoying, why not just send me to Mom? After our divorce, your mom wasn't allowed to stay any longer in the U.S. She had to fly back to Iran. The news shook me. Iran, the country my mom was born in, has a horrible government that mistreats its people badly, especially women who are seen as second-class citizens. As much as I hated living with my dad, it still seemed better than moving to a country full of religious zealots. The next morning, Darcy woke me up at 8 a.m. and told me to hold an ice pack on her injured leg while she would watch TV. Right then and there, I had to choose between pleasing her or, as my dad had warned, being fed to the dogs. Well, I chose to flip her off again, to which she responded, "Good, I can't wait for your dad to throw you out. Maybe I'll come visit you at the children's home you'll move to, next to the other kids no one wanted." I hated this woman so much, but now I was in serious trouble. I had to come up with a wicked plan to break her and Dad up, so I did the following. First, I wrote my dad a goodbye letter, saying, "Bye, Dad. Be careful about Darcy. Today she stole all the money from my piggy bank. I bet she will steal from you too." Then I packed my clothes and moved into our basement without anyone knowing. It had a big gas tank where I could hide behind perfectly. I thought I was so smart. At night, I would sneak out and get food from the kitchen or use the bathroom, even though I often had to pee into a bottle during daytime. Meanwhile, my plan was to frame Darcy for stealing money from my dad. So at night, I would crawl into their bedroom